Hello friends and welcome to Figure Study, where I've decided that since the year is quickly drawing to a close and because things on the channel are definitely going to be changing in the near future, we're going back to the Korean transforming robot well with Hello Carbot Zetren, or Jetren. I believe Zetren is the right name though. And this is a figure that I have had my eye on for a bit. Never actually got him because by the time I had my eye on him, he was very, very expensive in the aftermarket, and I like these figures, I like this figure, but this is not a $90 to $100 figure. For anyone who might be curious in picking this guy up, I got him off of Gmarket, which I'll include a link to the storefront down below. So for around 30 bucks, but then, shipping on top of that, so it's more than 30 bucks, but like 40, 50 bucks. Much more worth it for this guy, not the 90 to 100 that he's going for on like Amazon and stuff like that. So anyway, that being said, now I have Zetren, and this is the reissue. I'm pretty sure. Just letting you all know. But this guy, he is neat. He is a very kind of late 80s, early to mid 90s crime solver with a car gimmick kind of car here. Kind of like Knight Rider or Viper. Airwolf, if Airwolf was a car, that kind of thing. And this is completely ridiculous, but I absolutely love it. It's kind of like it has that kind of like 80s sedan feel, but one that's been kitted out with like this really weird bodywork that tries to add really superfluous and goofy looking angles, and I love it for that. I also really like how they've got some nice red highlights and details going throughout in a bunch of different places. I feel like maybe there could be a little bit more going on here, like maybe get these vents up here detailed a little bit, or something in the door handle, or maybe back here. It's a very basic color palette on this car. It's black and red. Black and red work really well. I just feel like maybe a little bit more would have been beneficial. And then of course you do get some yellow in the headlights, but like that's it. Everything else is like robot bits that you can just barely see, or you can see clearly underneath. But it is a really cool looking car. It's, like I said, it's like 80s goofy, but cool goofy. So yeah, Zetren's car mode is odd, but it's the kind of odd that I really like. And I'm sorry I bumped the camera. I'm trying to be very good about bumping the camera, but it's hard. Let me readjust real quick. I'm trying to be more conscientious about the camera because the mount is very, very wiggly, because I'm still using the ring light setup that I got from my parents. So rather than subject you to me moving the camera around and the thing like, going woo all the time, I'm just going to cut when I adjust the camera. Hopefully it'll make it easier on your eyes. Anyway, that being said, let's get to those size comparisons. Here's Zetren with the mostly standard deluxe squad, and he's a Hello Carbot in particular, and I don't necessarily want to say older, but I think it applies, but let's say classic. He's a more classic Hello Carbot. So as you would probably expect, if you're familiar with Hello Carbots at all, he's pretty big. Though he does look right at home next to his fellow Carbot Ponymeister. They're more or less the same size. I mean, the dimensions are slightly different, but it's because you've got futuristic concept sports car versus whatever Ponymeister is supposed to be. Just because, and let me bring down the lights just a little bit. You can see some of that detail a little bit better. But yeah, just because here he is with a more classic Tobot, in this case Tobot Zero. Even after adjusting Tobot Zero's ratchets, that thing is still kinda scary to transform in a few places. Anyway, let me readjust the lights again here. There we go. And lastly, here we have Zetren with the duck tank. Okay, transformation time, and as is the case with the Tobot stuff, we are going to transform Zetren without speeding him up. So, first off, I'm going to come to the underside to remove his weapon. It's like some kind of staff thing that looks like it could be very bluntly bladed up here, and also there's kind of like a serrated edge to it. I don't really know. I think this is supposed to be like a magic staff or something like that. It's kind of silly, but hey, it's Carbots. Anyway, next, going to reach under here, kind of right in here, and pull out this way, because there's a little double hinge here, where it swivels here and here, where these two pins are, or screw and pin. And that will allow us to pop this section up top apart. And it's a little tricky because the connection peg here is very, very snug. There we go, jeez. Might need to shave that down a little bit. Anyway, with that done, these can hinge up, and there is a peg here that will peg into the wheel on either side. And we open up the back, and much like the front section or midsection, this tabs together very securely. I'm not afraid I'm going to break it, it's just it requires quite a bit of doing. Now we're going to rotate this down, and spin them. Guess what these are going to be? Flip these forward, and they will actually kind of click into place, kind of. Now these bits back here are actually on a little, these bits here will actually move, and they do click into place. So you want to unclick it and then push it until it clicks back into place here. And what this does is this locks that hinge joint in place, more or less. So when you move the knee, you're only moving the regular knee. You could accidentally bend the transformation joint rather than the knee, so when you click that in, then that keeps the transformation joint from bending. Alright, after the legs, we're going to split the front of the car mode and bring these bits down, rotate these chunks around, then unpeg the arms from the insides of these shoulder dealies, pull the arms down or just unfold them at the elbow. Last thing to do is push this button here, which will cause the spring-loaded action to happen, and it will open the chest and pop up the head. Ta-da! There you can see the little mechanism. And there we go. There we have Hello Carbot Zetren, or Jetren. I'm gonna go with Zetren, in his robot mode. And actually, let's give him his little staff thingy. And this is a very interesting robot mode. I like how you get more going on here than you had in the car, because the car, as I said, was primarily black with red detailing, and that was about it. Here you get a lot more yellow and even a little bit of silver in the pectoral section there. Like with a lot of Carbots, in particular the classic Carbots, he has big kibble shoulders, which I don't mind. Sky SWAT has it, Ponymeister has it. It's fine. The only real nitpicks I have with the robot mode in general are the fact that, first of all, articulation's a little limited because he's a Carbot. Really, the only thing he's missing is a waist swivel and bicep swivels. Everything else is fine, but more than anything, I really wish he had bicep swivels, because I really can get some interesting stuff going with bicep swivels, but he does not, and unfortunately, unlike Sky SWAT, he doesn't have a transformation joint that you can kind of fudge to pretend that he has bicep swivels. He can only kind of go up like this. Still a very cool looking robot. I like the coloration here. I do kind of wish that there was a little bit more yellow down around here somewhere, because it's all just kind of fixated in his upper body. It also would be cool if some of that silver popped up in a few other places rather than just the pecs and the face. Whether it's show accurate or not, I don't know. Just what I think would look better. An unfortunate problem with the color scheme is when you put yellow and red together, it's kind of hard not to see it as ketchup and mustard. It doesn't make the figure look bad, it's just kind of, you put those two colors next to each other, that's where my brain goes. There is some cool detailing though. You get the sides of the car as the front of the shins, which looks pretty good, and actually because they did a lot of that detailing in red, you get a fair bit of painted and detailing on the shins. The insides of the legs also have some nice molded detailing, though that's also the bottom of the car. The hips and thighs and all that are detailed, but they're kind of plain looking. It's also kind of a shame that these ratchets are white, because they stand out super hard. Maybe red or black, then they wouldn't stand out as much, and that's like the only bit of white, I think, on the entire figure, so that's a little bit weird. The torso detailing is pretty decent. The very yellow pelvis section is a bit of a choice. What's going on in the chest is cool, and I like how it splits. That is a cool kind of gimmick feature, whatever you want to call it. The thing that kind of bugs me about the chest, though, is you can see there's a Hello Carbot logo nestled in there. I wish that was painted. It's probably a show accuracy thing, but I feel like if that was maybe silver as well, that would stand out really, really nicely. The arms have some decent detailing to them as well. The fists do that weird thing that some Hello Carbots do, some of the older ones anyway. Like Ponymeister does this too, where his fist kind of crooks up slightly, like instead of being straight, it's kind of like this. And lastly, for Zetren's head, it's a really interesting head, but it's actually pretty cool. I like how he's kind of got this almost normal boy robot head going on with this extremely, almost absurdly ornate helmet on top of it, with this giant head crest and the fins going up the side. It's weird, but I really, really like it, and the actual face design is surprisingly cool. That nice kind of angled and layered silver faceplate there. But yeah, that is Zetren's robot mode, and it is cool. I also do have to say, like, silhouette-wise, he's got a really interesting silhouette. I like how he's got kind of like the chunky bell-bottomy boots, and of course the big Hello Carbot-style shoulders, but he does interesting stuff with his shoulder kibble that kind of comes off almost wing-like in a way. So he does do some interesting stuff with his kibble. Alright, so with that out of the way, let us get Zetren situated, and let me readjust. And let's bring in the last round of size comparisons. Here he is, towering over the standard deluxe squad as a Carbot Auto. Here he is with fellow Hello Carbot Pony Meister. Here he is with the stand-in for classic Tobots in this particular video, that is Carbot Zero. And here he is with the Duck Tank. Okay, that is one more Korean transforming robot thingy down, and I like him. To be fair, we already established that I like him, but I do like Zetren. He's limited in places in ways that I hadn't really considered before ordering him, but I do still like him. I just think he does feel a little sparse in places, detail-wise. I think it might just be the way that they broke up the colors with the red and the black that makes it feel particularly sparse, and also the fact that black makes a lot of those molded details that are there a lot harder to see. He's got some really interesting elements to his robot mode design and some really interesting elements to his car mode design. But that is enough about what I think. What do you all think of Hello Carbot Zetren or Jetren? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all, and remember, art is more than meets the eye.